Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I am here to walk you guys through my progress for the month of May as it relates to self-discipline and my monthly goals. I want to take the time to kind of just give an intro to myself. Again, I am Mary Guy, and I am the face and the voice behind this YouTube channel. And my initiative for right now on the self-discipline videos is to kind of give you a walkthrough on my progress on mastering self-discipline. Self-discipline is a very, very important skill for me to that I have kind of came to awareness that it is important for me to master because it affects my entire livelihood. It affects my personal life. It affects my physical health, my mental health. It affects my finances. It affects any and everything that I would want to accomplish in my life. I cannot do it without self-discipline. So self-discipline is very, very much important. And if this is your first video watching, there are some previous videos where I kind of go into detail of what self-discipline is, the definition, the key aspects, the benefits, how to develop it. And then I'm moving on into giving my day-to-day progress on my monthly goals and as it relates to self-discipline. So let's just see how I'm progressing on May the 5th, which is a Monday, and it is my day 5, if you would say, if I'm starting from the month of May. This is my day number 5 on my progress on my monthly goals and focusing on being better with self-discipline. So let's just see what my goals and how I've progressed over them. So I'm going to recap the goals, and then also I'm going to embed some different things that I've experienced as it relates to a few of the goals and kind of talk with you guys on that to kind of share some of the things that I've actually done over the past years. So just to kind of recap what my main monthly goals are, I have a total of 6 of them. My goal number 1 is to earn at least $2,000 from a supplementary income that I will later on this month reveal what that actually is. How am I actually earning this extra money that I'm making a goal about? And I will share that with you guys. My goal number 2 for this month is to pay off a line of credit. And that's going to also encompass budgeting. So later on, maybe later this week or the next week, I'll share some of my budgeting strategies and experiences and how I've paid off so much line of credit and gotten my budget into the recommended percentage of what we should spend each month on different parts of our budget. So I'll kind of share some of my budgeting sheets, budgeting strategies, ideas, and also I might do some recent research on those. So I'll share that with you guys. Goal number 3, lose at least 10 pounds. My starting weight, which was on April the 27th, I weighed myself and I weighed 239 pounds. And this month, you'll see my progression on tracking my attempt to lose 10 pounds before the end of this month. And whether or not I'll reach that goal, we shall see at the end of this month. Goal number 4, start SQL course on Microsoft to advance programming skill. I'll share more on that and I can share different sources that can be used, or websites or courses and so forth, to look up different programming courses if anyone's interested. My goal number 5 is to read, study, and meditate on discipline, because all of these things encompass having self-discipline. And this time around, as it relates to my goals and my life growth and my accomplishments or my visions, I'm utilizing a different strategy. And that strategy is combining it with being very intentional on what self-discipline is. And then my last goal is how to implement it. So I'm actually wanting to implement discipline to get better with discipline, because discipline to me, as I stated earlier, is very, very important. And that is going to be the key. If I focus on that one thing, it's going to help me with all of my goals because that's how I'm able to accomplish them. So let's just see my progress on the goals. So let me look at goal one, to earn at least $2,000 from my supplementary income. On day number one, I actually made a gain of $63. Day number two, $132. Saturday, day number three, 169, which was a total of 370 for that first week, last week. Subtracted from my $2,000 goal for the following weeks, including this week, I need to make a combined total of 1629 in order to reach my goal. So I'm just getting started with this week, and I've already etched out a game plan because 1,600 divided by 4, that's about $400. If I were to take that exact number and divide it by 4, it's about $407 that I need to earn these next 4 weeks. And as you can see, that first week, I've earned almost $400 off of 3 days. So if I at least add on an extra day, 4 days out of the week, and some weeks I have things going on, so I'm going to have to really kind of see how those days work because there are such things as peak days, and that means that on those days you generally make more. So on Saturdays, Fridays, Thursdays, sometimes depending, it might be busy on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but the most peak days are Friday and Saturday where I'm able to earn more. So when I have things going on the weekend, for example, Mother's Day weekend, I'll be out of town. That's going to kind of get rid of those 2 days of being able to. Maybe I could squeeze in some time when I get back into town. Well, I'll just have to kind of play it by ear when I get there. But I do have a game plan in my mind to at least try. And if I don't, then that's okay. I have other days that week that I'm able to. Then I also have a wedding to also attend. And then sometimes on the weekend, depending like on Sundays, I might not be able to um, earn money on those days and Mondays until Tuesdays. So yesterday I wasn't able to earn any money. I had church and I had things after church, so that kind of I had things filling in my time on that particular day. And then today is work day. I have me a daily day schedule with my son after school. And so needless to say, I wasn't able to earn any money today, but I do have a plan to pick back up the rest of this week until Friday. So my 4 days that I set out to do and earn money is to tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I'm actually going to be leaving out of town on the 10th. So that will prevent me from earning because the distance I'm going actually back to my hometown, which is about 4 hours away from where I actually reside. So I would need that whole day of traveling just to make it there in time. I have scheduled plans with my mom for Mother's Day that I need to make by that evening. So needless to say, I will not be able to DoorDash on Saturday. So my 4 days that I'm aiming to earn the $400 that I need to earn, if I earn on average $100 a day, is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. And so tomorrow will be a pivotal day to see my progress on whether I actually kept my game plan or if something happened to prevent that from happening. So I did want to share with you guys kind of this that shows how much I've made so far each day. The app kind of gives me a guideline on how much. So I kind of totaled. So Thursday, you can see this is how much I have there. Friday, I totaled these together. Saturday, and actually on Friday, it includes sometimes I make cash that kind of combines what actually is shown on this app. So there's some missing money that I actually had earned, but I earned cash. So therefore it doesn't reflect on here, but it is a part of what I earned that day. And so sometimes that happens. And then Saturday, you can see I've earned quite a bit on Saturday. And then I also want to share my trend so you can get an idea of how much money I can earn from this over time. And now, to be honest, I have somewhat consistently earned money or attempted to earn money on this particular venture. But you can see from the past all the way until January of this year, it only kind of keeps track of, I think a few months at a time before it kind of filters off. But there's been times, even like in October, I were able to earn over $1,000 in a week. But you can see somewhere around in March, in between March and April, there's a week where I earned almost like $700. I think I've earned about $600 at the most within the past few months. So this gives you an idea. So I'm kind of like halfway at where I would normally be. Sometimes, most of the time, I'm like somewhere around this middle part where I'm earning $368, a little bit below $400. So I would have to bump that up a little bit in order to meet my goal for this month. So that kind of gives you a trend to understand how I'm able to, if it's reasonable for me to actually have this $2,000 goal that I have based on how I've done in the past. And my goal number 2 is to pay off the line of credit. Well, if you look at this chart here, I've sketched it out on the days that I'm actually going to make a chunk payment. So the 10th, which is Saturday, that would be my first attempt to work on this goal by paying $342. So each week following that, I'll pay $342. And then that last week, I should have only $340.07 left. And so therefore, and we will see, because sometimes credit cards, depending on when my due date is, it may not necessarily be at the end of the month. It might be towards the middle of the month. So I might need to look on my app and actually see, because I could accrue interest if I don't pay it off before the next due date on my card. So I didn't think about that when I scheduled out. So I'm going to pull up my app real quick on my phone just to see. But I think and I have it on my budget sheet, because on my budget sheet, I have everything etched out, and I have everything by the date that they're due. Hmm. It did not like my fingerprint. I'm gonna use my fingerprint to unlock my screen. So let's just see if I can find email from them. Okay, so it's due normally around the 25th of each month. I just found the past email from May where it said that it was due date 5/25. So I'm thinking every month 5/25 it is due. Let's just see if there's another one that shows like for the month of April, so I can verify. Yep, that says yeah, so the 25th, because I got 2 and 1 in April. So I want to actually pay this off. I'll probably pay it off sooner than that, just so I don't accrue that interest, which means I will actually owe more than $1,366. Because if I let it if I let it go over my due date, it's going to accrue the interest of the credit card, whatever that interest is. Every credit card has its own set interest on how much you have to pay if you kind of let your balance just remain on there. So I will be tracking my progress on that and sharing some of my goals. My third goal is to lose at least 10 pounds. So I started out with 239 on May the 1st. I weighed myself and I was 237 pounds, which made me only have to lose 8 pounds. Every Sunday going forth will be my weigh-in day. And so my previous video, you actually saw a video of me weighing myself. And in that video, I was so elated that I was able to get down to 235.2. And I also shared a body visual of myself. And I'll kind of continue that throughout this whole month just to see the difference. And then when continue it throughout the months so that I can document the difference in how my body is toning down and becoming more slim and so forth. So it's a visual documentation of all the hard work that I'm putting in. So with that being said, if I'm down to 235 and 2/10 of a pound, I only have 6 and 2/10 of a pound to lose going forth, which would be around 1.55 pounds for the following weeks. So if I can get down to 233 and 8/10 of a pound by May the 11th, which is next Sunday, I will still be on track with my goal. And so that'll actually be the day that I'm coming back into town for Mother's Day weekend. So I'll probably weigh myself later that day. And then I also have to be very, very conscious of my eating habits. I think I mentioned on my previous video that today is May the 5th, it's Cinco de Mayo. I was planning on going out to eat, but actually I cooked a nice meal that I had leftovers from a rice bowl on Sunday. So I actually didn't worry about going out. But whenever I do tend to go out, I have to be very, very mindful and conscious of the food choices that I select. And I'll probably try to lean more on the salad side, salad with protein, just to make sure that I'm not over consuming calories. I do want to share with you guys some of my health goals over the past years and how I actually met my health goals over the past years. Kind of give you some ideas of the experiences that I have tried, different things that I've tried over the past years. So going way, way back to prior, like when I was in this time range from early on until 2015, in high school, I weighed a consistent weight of 135 pounds, and I'm 5'7". So that was, I just did my regular. I was very much involved in extracurricular activities in school. I did dance. I did chorus, forte, like chorus and performance and entertainment and things like that. And then I remained active in the gym when I went to college. They had a gym that we could go to with our student card at Valdosta State, and I would go there regularly. But during the time that I was in college, probably maybe my junior year, my weight kind of incremented up to maybe like the 140s, 150s, 160s, 170. And I think I hung around there during this time frame, like in the 160, 170s. So during that time frame, I've tried vegan diet and juice detox. Vegan diet is like no meat, and I used to supplement it with tofu, flax seed, or I would use like banana instead of flour. Um, and there was ways that you could use flax seed instead of eggs. And during that time, there wasn't so many options like there are today, like with the egg yolks or the different. I don't even think almond milk was out as popular around then. So I just kind of used the strategies that were out there, and it actually benefited me. And I used to stay in an apartment during that time because this is when I was teaching in a school next to the county that I currently reside in. And there was like a lake next to my apartment complex, so I would go out there and run. I had a gym membership at Factor Fitness. I would implement that and go after work, like after work, 3:30, I would go straight there. That was my strategy during this time when I was attempting to lose the weight, which I did at the time. I did lose the weight, and these strategies did work for me. So I've kind of had some experiences with vegan diet, juice detox, meal prep. I used to do that as well. So for my juice detox, what I would do is I would buy the ingredients. I would buy maybe like frozen fruit or fresh fruit, and I would use like a yogurt base or like a yogurt base pretty much, and water and ice. And then I would blend it in my blender. I would take anything from spinach, oranges, strawberry, bananas, just encompass my fruits and vegetables and blend them together and juice them down and in the blender. I didn't have a special juicer. I don't really know if they were big back then. I think they might have had some, but I don't think there were many options available as there are now. Like there's so many different juicers that you could use to get you more of a defined juice or different strategies. So I did that, and that was very successful for me, combined with my gym membership and my workout. And this is prior to me having my son, getting married, having my son, and so forth and so on. This was still prior to me having my son because I actually had him 2017. So I would say somewhere between 2015 and 2017, I implemented a calorie counting, and I was trying to find the app. I think it was Spark. The app that I had was Spark People. Yes. Yeah, I use Spark People, and now they have so many different. I did calorie counting where I would actually punch in every item that I ate, and every ingredient that I actually planned to eat, and it kind of tracked your calories. You could put in your weight. It kind of managed your weight. It gave you different. It just had so many different resources, and I it worked for me for those years where I was able to. And somewhere around this 2015, 2017, I probably were in between 170, 180. And I was trying to get my weight back down to maybe like 170, 160, which it actually worked. And I did get my weight down. And later on, I'll kind of show a visual picture of my weight gain, weight loss, and you can kind of see the walkthrough of these. So I implemented calorie counting where I wanted to be very meticulous on how much calories I intake and how much I burnt, because on the actual app you can also track your exercise. So I would continue to go to the gym or run around the lake, which one lap would be like a mile. So I sometimes get up to like maybe like 4 laps out there running um, in a day, trying to get that down. And I felt to mention also in during the college time prior to 2015, I would walk, run all the way up the parking deck, which was probably like 5 floors, 4 or 5 floors next to the apartment complex I stayed in that was on campus. And I would run around the top of the parking lot like that. In hot summer, that sun, sweat, I would run laps. And that would be also another strategy or exercise strategy that I would use, is doing those steps and then running around the parking deck, like at the top, because no cars are really like riding all the way to the top. So that was a perfect place for me to actually run along with going to the gym. Okay, so 2015, 2017, I did calorie counting. And then 2017 is when I actually had my son. And I shared that my highest weight at that time was 224. So that kind of bumped me up to 224 pounds. So after that, until like about 2019, I joined a gym. I did like it was like a trial run of a gym and a technique called body track. And then I also did a diet journal. So it was kind of like a combination of calorie counting, but not so much. I would just journal out what my plan of I would just look online and like see how many calories are in a one banana and kind of use that as my tracking tool. I kind of weaned off of the Spark People app. Not that it was anything wrong with it, it's just a different strategy I implemented during this time. So the body track, that kind of made me more aware of how much effort I'm applying in the gym, because there was like this monitor that they had that you would strap around your what, like towards the top part of your body, and it had like a little monitor, so as you worked out and when you go into the gym, it kind of somewhat synced to their screens, their television screens, and you can actually see what percentage of level, like am I exerting 99% of my effort, 98, and you want to be somewhere between 80 and 80 and up, and that shows your effort level as you're working out. So you want to kind of push yourself to do exercises that kept you in that high end, so that you're actually really working in a the intensity of your workout, increasing the intensity of your workout. So I started doing that. And also I think I still had my Factor Fitness gym membership at the time, because as a teacher you can get a discount price. And that's how I first signed up with that when I got employed back in 2012. They give you your paperwork and your benefits, and then I saw on there that we had a either it was between the Y or just a Factor Fitness gym. I chose the Factor Fitness gym, and that's what I did. So that actually worked out for me because I would be able to use it at home. I had an app on my phone that would do the same thing in the gym. It would track, I should strap it on me, and then it would track my effort level any and every time I worked out. So I would run. I did a sauna suit. It's like a suit that you can wear when you exercise. It's kind of like the windbreakers, but it's different because of the design on the inside. It helps you sweat more, sweat off the water weight. And I would run around the block. I would run up the hill and down the hill. Um, I would run. There's a school across from where I stay. I would run in the grass back and forth, and I would track my distance, because it was also track my distance. And then also at that time, I didn't have this watch, but I had another Fitbit watch, and it also helped with me tracking my distance. It wasn't nearly as fancy as this one, where it actually connects several apps on my phone, but it was very helpful. And so I did do journaling, like diet journals, to kind of track my diet as well. 2019 to 2023, I can't really recall if I was implementing any type of diet other than just sporadically, sometimes consistently going to the gym here in town, Fitness for Life. And I would just go there. My routine at that time was going there after work, like in the evening times I would go there. I didn't implement the morning time until recently. So 2023, 2024, I lost the 60 pounds, the recent 60 pounds that I lost, that I gained 30 more pounds. I gained 30 of them back to where I'm at right now in the 230s, because I was 262 when I weighed myself in December 2023. And that prompted me to try Slimfast. I've seen some people, my mom has done Slimfast in the past. I've even had a student who did Slimfast and was able to lose the weight. And I just said, let me just give this a try. It was very nice and supportive. So the Slimfast diet strategy is that you drink two Slimfast meal replacer drinks, because those drinks actually has high protein, and it has all the different nutrients that you would need, like your vitamins and your fiber and things like that, protein, and it was low calorie. So you would say maybe your breakfast and lunch, you would drink those Slimfast to replace your breakfast and your lunch, and you'll only have to make reasonable meal, sensible meal is what they say, and it had to be like a low calorie meal, aiming for 500 calories or less, or somewhere close to then if you can't. So you'll have those 3 meals a day, two drinks, two Slim Fast drinks to replace 2 meals. And so it actually made it easier for me. My whole take on that is that it was kind of getting hard with making the time to cook. And so it just made it so easy on me that I only had 1 meal to worry about in a day. And I could just easily just pull out. I used to just do the ready to drink Slim Fast. That means the ones that are already mixed for you. There is a powder that you can purchase and you can mix it yourself. But I just wanted something quick in a hurry, because at that time I was trying to I was working on maximizing my time in a day. So I would do a day or an hour by hour timing, and I had a lot of things fit into that timing in combination with my supplementary income, time to make money off of those things. And so I needed something that would aid me in meeting my schedule. So I didn't want to spend too much time making stuff or cooking anything. So the Slim Fast route was very beneficial for me, and the fact of that. And then there's also a group that I'm involved in still today. There's a Slim Fast Together group on Facebook, and I'm trying to see if there's any other ones just in case. It's a very positive group. It was probably my first 100% positive interaction on social media, because there's so much negativity out there, but this particular group is very positive, and people make posts. I made several posts on here tracking my progress and how I was able, and I can actually share some of that because I kept track on my calendar, on my phone. I would track it each day. I would put what my weight was and so forth. And then I would share, give kind of like a timeline. So it's very motivational because you get to see other people working along with you, and then you can share on there if you're having a struggle time. People would encourage you, be positive. They were just very, very positive, and it's such a great group. So there's a total of 33,000 people in the group, and it's very much active. There's people posting in there every moment by the hour. So I can actually I'll share a link to that group if anyone's interested. I'll share the link to that group below, because there are some other groups and so forth on here that's labeled Slimfast. I think there's like 3, but you'll know the one I'm referring to because it has the most membership. And you can see that it's very much active because on Facebook it shows you how many posts they are making on average in a day. So I did Slimfast when I was at my highest weight of 262 pounds. And I got all the way down to 200. And I was right on the cusp of aiming towards getting in my wonderland, is what I call it, my 100s, like down to there would have been great. And then I kind of, maybe like around April 2024, several different things, I kind of let those things kind of get in the way, got off my schedule of going to the gym. And this is when I switched my gym time to the morning time. I had a switch in my career as well. So I was able to do morning time more. And so it just aided me so much. And so now, 2024 until now, I am just doing a combination. And my main thing is from Slim Fast, I've gathered the low carb, the low calorie, the high protein as a very instrumental part of the diet strategy, combined with exercise and combined with self-discipline. So that's what I'm pretty much doing right now. And I might have a Slim Fast drink. If I do, I will use it to replace a meal. I started to love the caramel latte Slim Fast, and I would use it to as a substitute for my creamer and sugar in my coffee in the morning. So whenever I have coffee, which I'm not a regular coffee drinker, But whenever I would want to have it, it would help me stay on the low calorie side by not putting sugar in there, not having to put the creamer. I could just use the caramel latte. It is so wonderful. Like, if you would ever want to try it, trust me, that caramel latte by itself, a lot of the Slim Fast foods were like, wow, this actually tastes real good. And I started learning through that if there's a healthier option in the store, why not buy it? A lot of the healthier options taste so great. Like, I even found the Yasso um ice cream, which is yogurt based, and they are like 80 calories. They have bread now, they have keto bread, but I just try to stay away from bread altogether. But if you did choose to continue with bread, because bread is like high carbs and generally a lot of carbs, unnecessary carbs. When you just want I want to get straight to my food versus the bread and all that stuff. So I just try to stay away from the bread because I know that it tends to be high carbs. But there are so many different net zero brands or net zero items in the store that you can choose from as far as like bread items. And there's just so many options in the store. So I'm doing right now like a combination of all the different things that I've learned. I've done fasting. Of course, Slim Fast is some form of fasting. And that time frame, I would block out some time, maybe from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to limit myself so that I'm not overindulging in the nighttime, because that would be my trigger time for snacking and eating and watching TV and laying down and things like that. And after a while of doing that consistently, the weight kind of piles back on. So I kind of limited myself and I gave myself, I guess in that moment, you could say that's discipline, because in order to fast, you got to have discipline. So I did fasting for 16 hours in a day and eating 8 hours of the rest of the day. Give myself those 8 hours to eat, or 6 hours to eat, and then the remaining 18 hours fasting, giving my body time to kind of reset. So now I'm working on my diet strategy is low carb, low calorie, high protein, which includes Slim Fast, because Slim Fast is low carb, low calorie, high protein. And then even a vegan diet is low carb, low calorie, high juice detox. If I choose to do that, low carb, low calorie, high protein. And they have so many different shops now that sell the different teas that are geared towards like a meal replacer, smoothies that are meal replacers. And so, yeah, I'll implement a gain of those during this time, along with my strategy to work out in the gym in the morning time. So I just wanted to share with you guys some of my health goals over the past years to kind of give you a context of what I've had experience in and my success and then my failures. All of these actually were a success. It was just maintaining that discipline to continue them, because yeah, I can lose the weight, but once I lose the weight, I can't slack off so much to the fact that I'm gonna eventually gain the weight back. So I have to continue on that step. I have to continue going to the gym. I have to continue being conscious of my eating habits. I have to be um, intentional, making intentional decisions and discipline about my diet strategies going forward. So that's my goal as it relates to losing 10 pounds. My fourth goal is to start SQL course on Microsoft to advance skill. I actually started the course and I'm in module one. Module one has nine units, and I'm down to unit 7. And so tomorrow morning, my plan is to get up early and maybe complete the exercise, and I will give you guys an update on whether or not I did that. And because my goal for this module is to be completed by May the 7th, which will be Wednesday. So hopefully by May the 7th, I won't have to be squeezing in time to try to get that completed. But yet and still, my goal for this month is to just start the SQL course to advance my skill. And so hopefully I'm able to do more than that. Goal number 5, read, study, and meditate on discipline. I shared at the end of last week. I'm actually reading The Power. I don't have it next to me, but it's The Power of Self-Discipline. I have it linked below in my description if you're interested in it. They also have a Facebook group, so I can share their Facebook group. And I'm just now new to that group. So it appears as if people are posting. Like yesterday it says one new post. There's a total of 20.9 thousand members. It seems to be a very positive. So people who are reading the book, they are a part of the group. The whole thing is for you to actually read the book and be a part of the group and kind of share your insight on it. So yeah, it may not be as active, but you can make it more active by posting. By posting in here, so people are posting way back from April, 5 days ago, 4 days ago. Seems pretty active, and people respond. So yeah, there are a lot of different groups on social media that you can join. There are a lot of different gym memberships, group sessions that you can join to help you with your goals. You want to have that support system, whatever that looks like for you, to help you manage your goal. So this week I have to continue reading. I haven't gotten a chance to read the book Sunday, Monday, so I got to pick back up on later today, hopefully tomorrow until the end of the week, because again I can still take the book with me during the weekend as well to kind of be able to read that and see where I'm at with that. And then goal number 6, this week I'm actually focusing on implementing discipline in my mind. That means mentally, in my job, and in my finances. So I will let you guys know how I've done with that and kind of share how I did that for this week in those 3 areas. And then the following weeks, I'll be doing it about the body, how I'm implementing it in my body, my heart, and my soul. So that pretty much sums up everything. I don't think I have anything else there. Nope. So that pretty much sums up everything of all my goals. I'm going to go back to my actual goals at the beginning here. I probably should put them at the end. There we go. So that kind of sums up everything. I hope what I shared with you could be helpful, useful, meaningful for whatever your goals are. And I hope just as well as I'm able to progress on my goals, you're able to progress on yours. If you have any questions, comments, please don't shy away from commenting below, liking, subscribing, and I will see you tomorrow when I am tracking myself further on these goals and sharing some of my insight on how well I'm doing on these particular monthly goals and self-discipline. But until next time, see you later.